Greetings everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and you're watching Spotless Mind Tarot. In this series of videos we are going to take a look into what is coming your way for the end of 2023. You can watch this video anytime from the release date to the very end of the year. There will be a total of 12 videos, one for each zodiac sign. I suggest that you watch for your rising, sun, and moon sign. Keep in mind that the messages I receive in these readings are general, so apply them accordingly to your life. All of my readings are audio recorded, and photos of the spread will appear on the screen as we progress through the reading. The format for the readings will go as follows. I will start each reading by taking a look at the current energies that you may be experiencing at the time you are watching this video. Next, I'll take a look at what is coming your way for the end of the year and what you could expect to occur during these last few months. After that, we'll get some advice from your spirit guides and see what they would like for you to know going into 2024. Then I'll pull an oracle card that will tie together the reading for you. The oracle will basically highlight the overall outcome of the year. Thank you for watching, and please hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video. Blessings, Scorpio, and welcome to your tarot reading. This is good for Scorpio rising, sun, and or moon signs. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the end of the year. And since I am recording this on the very last day of November, then what you could expect to come up at the end of the year may also transition into January 2024. So you could expect some of the things I pick up in this reading to also occur in January as well. And I do want to apologize that these are late. I had to take 2 weeks off from doing these videos to focus on other things. So yeah, it's late, but I decided to include January just so you guys can get the most out of this reading. And since I am recording this in November, on November 30th to be exact, then some of these things that come up in the current energies may occur in the month of November. And so what you could expect to come up may very well occur a lot sooner than perhaps the other signs that got their videos earlier. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today, I am using the Albano-Waite Tarot deck and the Urban Crow Oracle. So I'm going to shuffle and we'll see what we get. Okay, so before I begin, as I was shuffling the cards, I had the impression that there's a cross watcher here for Scorpio. And I think in the most rarest case, there's a cross watcher watching for a Scorpio who is also watching this video. And that may only apply to like one person or, two people in that situation. So I don't know. I feel like that's really specific and also quite interesting because this is a very small channel. I've only got less than 30 subscribers. So if that's the case, like that's what a coincidence, right? Like that's just fascinating to me. Okay, so for current energies, we got the Sun, the Hierophant, and the Three of Swords. So this is quite interesting because on either side of the Hierophant, we have the Sun, which is all good, positive vibes, like all good energy. And then on the opposite side, we have the Three of Swords. And this is typically everything to do with heartbreak and denial and shame and things like that. And I immediately had the image of the scale with the feather and with the heart. And I believe this is called the weighing of souls, and it comes from ancient Egypt. And apparently the heart of the deceased is weighed on a scale against the feather of the goddess Ma'at, who personifies order, truth, and what is right. And so I'm assuming this is something that happens in death, which is a sign that Scorpio rules over. And, you know, it's basically like your judgment day. And so your heart is being judged against the goddess Ma'at, but also the feather, which I'm sure represents something deeper. Maybe there's some kind of purity in that. I'm not sure. And so that could be a theme that is occurring for you currently, or something that had occurred all throughout November. We could also simplify it as like good versus evil, or good versus bad, happy versus sad, things like that. And so you may have gone through these extremes, like these emotions, but to extreme levels. Like it was all or nothing on one side, or all or nothing on the other side. And the Hierophant has to do with religious philosophy, and it could also represent you receiving some kind of higher truth, some kind of divine truth. Something had occurred to you where you received some kind of insight. It could even just be like advice from an elder, or advice from a guru, or some kind of spiritual or religious figure, like, or somebody who just possesses a lot of knowledge in those things. Or even someone like a coach, like somebody who's helping coach you through life. So it doesn't have to necessarily be like a spiritual religious thing, but it does have a lot to do with like higher knowledge and more closer to like divine truth. So this may have been occurring for you, or it is something that you're currently going through, like right at this moment as you're watching this reading. But I do feel like this is an ongoing situation. It's like at least this past month that this is occurring. So even though we don't have the judgment card out, there is some kind of judgment occurring. And, you know, it could have also just been because of Scorpio season in general. You know, Scorpio season is a time for us to basically die and be reborn. It's a time for us to really look deep within, because, you know, we have the opportunity to do that with the energy of Scorpio ruling over us. And so whatever season that we're in, that sign basically gets activated in our chart, obviously, because the sun is transiting there. But also just the archetypal energy in general is something that we may exhibit, or something that we may somehow personify in our life. And so those themes will carry out whatever is related to that sign. And so for Scorpio, you know, you guys are all too familiar with the energy, but it does have a lot to do with things that are below the surface, things that either you keep hidden from yourself or from others. It can deal with the occult and with sex and magic and things like that. Also, resources, other people's resources, what you can gain from other people. So this is gains as well as losses. So, you know, it's interesting because Scorpio has a dual energy because of the whole death rebirth thing. So it's not a dual sign like Pisces, Libra, or Gemini, but it does carry that kind of dual nature only because it's like they're one and the same. It's the as above, so below. That's definitely a Scorpio energy or Scorpio saying, because it's showing like how both sides of the coin are basically the same in the sense that they are part of the whole. So on one end, you guys are absolutely thriving. And so I could see how this is playing out in certain areas of your life. So in one area of your life, you're absolutely thriving. You're on top of your game. You feel good. Things are just, it's great. All things are great. All things are sunny. And on the other end, there's a part of your life that's completely being gutted and destroyed and causing a lot of chaos or turmoil or just a lot of pain in general. And so it's up to you to recognize what those things are, because it's going to be different for everybody. So like someone's relationship could be in turmoil, or someone's job is in turmoil and then the relationship is thriving, right? So it's going to vary between each individual watching this. With the Hierophant out, I think that this is a good thing in the sense that it is an opportunity for you to really clear away what is holding you back, or to clear away, basically to clear away the fog, to make things more clear to yourself and maybe to other people if there's other people involved in your personal life, you know, so like a relationship or what have you. And so I think it's important for you guys to recognize that this has a higher meaning or a higher purpose. This isn't all for nothing. It's just, it's chaotic because whatever these two things are, even if they are separate, they're somehow connected in some way. So the best, I'm just going to go with like jobs and then relationships, just because like those seem to dominate most of everyone's lives, or their career or vocation or their job, and then their relationships, whether it's romantic or just like a best friend or just a really close family member. Those are pretty important in people's lives. Like almost everyone has those two things. And so somehow they're connected in some way. Somehow the relationship affects the work life, or the work is affecting the relationship. Or let's say something like you work for like your partner's father or your partner's uncle or something, and maybe that's how you met, is through like your boss or something, or somebody, a coworker, you know, like you met your spouse through a coworker or something. So somehow they're connected in that way. So it doesn't have to be like a direct connection in a sense that like your partner has involvement in your work, like what you actually do, versus just like, you know, you happen to meet each other because, you know, you're both friends with your coworker. So either way, there's some kind of involvement, and it's going to vary for each individual. So again, like it can be very direct, or it could be something like I just mentioned. But somehow they're affecting the other or each other in some way. There's something about needing to bring the two together as well. So even if for you, like, let's say this isn't the case, like there's no connection at all, or at least you don't see a connection, then you're being called to make the connection in some way. There's some kind of unity involved here. The Hierophant wants to bring unity into your life. This is also Taurus energy, so it's the opposite sign of you guys. It's your sister sign. And we have Uranus and Taurus at the moment. And so Jupiter might even be there too, actually. If not, Jupiter will be there pretty soon. But with Uranus there, it's going to trigger a lot of like sudden events for you. And it's going to depend on where these two signs fall in your chart, like what part of your life is going to get triggered. And so that could also been something that triggered this whole thing that I've been talking about when the sun had opposed Uranus. This could have came up. So I don't have the dates for that right now, but just sometime during Scorpio season. But going back to the whole like merging thing, the Hierophant or this Taurus person or this Taurus energy, it's inviting you an opportunity to bring these two together. It could also be just a way to, you want to balance these two energies out because they both are really chaotic in their own ways. You know, too much of a good thing isn't really that good, right? So like, let's say like chocolate is good, right? If you love chocolate, it tastes good anyways. It may not be good for you, but like it's so good, right? But too much of it is bad for you, okay? But like a little bit of chocolate here and there is totally fine, right? A little glass of wine here and there is totally healthy. But if you overdo it, then it's not good anymore. And so this can speak of avoiding that overindulgence, especially like when you're experiencing like total happiness and bliss. You don't want to stop yourself from feeling it, but you also want to like not get too attached to it. And the same goes for the broken energy, the hardships and the pain. You want to allow yourself to feel it, but you don't want to completely attach to it to where it just completely destroys you. A little bit of pain is helpful and somewhat necessary, especially if you're familiar with the occult. There's a lot of stories and a lot of experiences and even maybe some kind of initiations where you have to go through, even if it's not a direct initiation, like, you're joining like, a coven or something like that, but like just a spiritual initiation to where most times, most spiritual, like, let's just call them awakenings, most awakening periods in your life tend to happen during really painful times, right? So really painful times can trigger deep, profound spiritual experiences. And so a little bit of pain is necessary in order for you to tap into those hidden parts of yourself, because those hidden parts of yourself are likely hidden because of pain, because of trauma, because of a bad experience. And, we tend to kind of push it to the side, or, we shove it down and forget about it, or we even might downplay it or gaslight ourselves, And so it becomes a hidden part of ourselves. Or it could just be something like you got teased for something and you developed a little bit of shame over it. Like, you may not have thought it was a big deal at the time, but over time it sticks with you, like the shame, like whenever something similar happens for whatever you got teased for, like it could trigger like feelings of shame, or like, you get really embarrassed. And so that's just has to do with the fact that you have some unresolved issue with whatever that is that's making you feel like that. Even if like there's no, like you might see other people doing the same thing and they don't get shamed for whatever, or you don't even think that, like it's liberating even. But when you do it, it's not. And it's only not because of an experience that you had. On the other end, I do feel that you guys are more self-aware of these things. So regardless of your age, I feel that you have, over the years, acquired some kind of deep spiritual understanding. You may have acquired it really early. So let's say you had like really spiritual experiences growing up, but you didn't really like identify with them or think too much of them, and then it wasn't until later in your life that you adapted some kind of spiritual path, or even like a religious path, something that connects you to the divine. And because of your previous experiences, even if you didn't really identify with them, they have allowed you to really tap in and go deeper. It's almost like skipping steps. Like you don't have to go through like the beginner's process because you've already had those experiences. So you're like intermediate. And so for some of you, I feel like that's something to recognize within yourself, that you're not a beginner at whatever it is you're going through, or even just spirituality or religion in general. Like you already have the wisdom and the experience. I think part of this is that you need to identify those experiences that you've had and recognize them and know that like it wasn't just a thing, like it really meant something. Okay, so let's see what else I can pick up. So the energy we have out is Taurus, we have the Sun, and then we have Saturn in Libra. So those, you want to look at your Sun and see what's happening. You want to see what planets are aspecting it. I believe that that's the part of your chart that is experiencing the most joy at this moment. And then you want to look at where your Saturn is and then look at where Libra is. And if you are a Saturn and Libra generation, then this is like something, a collective. So like, yeah, the Saturn and Libra people, you guys, this is a collective pain that you're going through with the Three of Swords. This is a collective, and I'm being drawn to the rain. So like, this is a purifying moment for you guys. This is absolutely necessary for you guys to just shed away and to overcome this. And if you're not, I feel like it's like that for everybody, but just again, like collectively, that could just be a thing for all like Saturn and Libra people. But yeah, take a look at Saturn and Libra in your chart and see what's being affected. I'm not going to get into the transits or anything. I don't even know what they look like right now at the moment. So, we can be here all day doing that. But there's definitely something being activated with those things in your chart for sure. And I think if you were able to identify that, it could help you recognize a little bit more and identify more. So I think that's like a big thing, is to identify your feelings, identify your experiences, you know, give it a name and give it a voice instead of just passing it off as just something, because it's not just something at all. Like these experiences and your feelings are like, you're not crazy, you're not making it up, you're not whatever, like they're genuine and they matter. Okay, so I'm going to move ahead because this part is getting a little long, and we're going to go ahead and see what you could expect now here at the end of the year in December, and then even in January. Okay, so what you could expect at the end of the year and going into January, we got the Knight of Swords, Ace of Cups, Temperance, and Five of Cups. And so this is like a really fascinating reading, I'll say, because I feel you guys are going through something huge right now. Like something major is happening. Lots of like activations, even like an awakening for some of you guys. So in a way, I feel honored to read for you and to pick up on these messages, because this is like totally a big deal, what it is you're going through at the moment. Okay, so I will say first off that relationships are going to improve whether or not they were afflicted in any way. Relationships of all kinds are going to improve. We have the Ace of Cups and we have Temperance. And so Temperance is beautiful to see because in the current energies, I mentioned that there's this whole weighing and a need to balance both aspects of your life, where there's all this divine bliss and then there's all this like divine pain, and the Hierophant is asking you to like see how they're both one and the same. The Temperance is here to really unite those two and really bring them together. So here at the end of the year and going into January, you can expect to like fuse it together. There's this whole, it's like, now I'm getting the image of the Super Saiyans when they fuse together. Who is that? Goku and Vegeta when they do that. I'm sure there's other characters that do that, but they're more notorious for it. And so I can't think of like the name of the dance they do or what it is that they become, but that's the energy I'm getting, and that's representing you as well. Like you are that fusion. It's like you bring, you know, now I'm getting the other image of the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And so it's like you like realizing how both aspects of those aspects of yourself are you. I saw this quote, I believe last night. I'm going to pull it up because it's really relevant to what I'm talking about. Okay, so it was a post on Twitter by Pippa Ona, Pippaoona, and she had posted, "You are the root of all good and all evil. If this is a shocking statement to you, consider what evidence you have for an extrinsic reality." Not sure if I said that word right, but that's true. We are the source. We are our own source of good and evil. Like we are responsible for the good and evil within us, and what we allow to not so much control us, but what we allow to dictate our life and our experiences. And so I feel that you're coming to a terms with these things. Like there's probably parts of you, like there's probably good parts of you that make you totally cringe out, right? And then there's bad parts of you that make you just feel like inferior to other people or something. Like it just, it's almost like I'm getting like, there's someone here that's just like, they're kind of like, not to be rude, but they're kind of just like snooty or snotty about like their experiences. You know, it's almost like they're proud of like the hardships they go through, but it's not coming from like a genuine place. It's you're like making up for those experiences. You know, it's you know, and don't let me like tell you these things. Like that's, you know, I'm just reading the cards. I'm just speaking freely here, you know, based on the message I get. Don't let me dictate what it is that you do. And maybe what, if you are doing that, maybe you have a very valid reason for that, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying that some of the times bad things in our life can give us some kind of like inflated ego to where we feel it's justifiable for what we do. Almost like bullies, and I don't like saying bullies because, it's just a weird stereotype to like identify people in that way, but just a whole thing that they bully because they're likely being bullied, especially at home. And so they're just like paying it back. They're paying it forward, basically. And so that is something to think about. What are you paying forward? Is it justifiable? Is it correct? And what is correct and what isn't correct is going to depend on each individual, because we have our own perceptions of right and wrong. Obviously there's like a solid right and a solid wrong, right? Like helping the community is right. And, but I don't know, let's not go down that road. So anyways, the Knight of Swords here, I think he's saying to be prepared for like more downloads, more information to come in. Like you think you got the answer to it all, but here comes the Knight of Swords and he's got something to say. This is a delayed message as well. So if you guys are waiting to hear back about something, the Knight of Swords is here to let you know that you will hear about it here at the end of the year or even in January. So you could expect some delayed news, or somebody that needs to respond to you, you could expect a response from them. Even if you don't get a response, then that's a response, because no response is a response. And so you'll get the information you're looking for. There's also something about a new commitment here. So that could be a new relationship for those who are single, or for whoever like transitioning from one relationship to the next. There's an invitation here to some kind of relationship. I do feel it's more romantic than anything. And for those of you who are already committed, all relationships, but especially romantic ones, are going to improve even more. There's going to be a lot more of the Sun card in that area. So if you are going through a difficult time with romantic relationships or even platonic ones, expect for it to improve and get better. There's a major healing element here. So there could be some kind of forgiveness, or you might receive some kind of information that helps you see the picture clearly. You might think one thing about a situation and the news you receive is the complete opposite. And so it brings you peace and healing. There's definitely a cleansing going on, with the Three of Swords and with the Ace of Cups, as the water's flowing out, and it's a more controlled flow. And so I feel that it's going to be really purifying, whatever this situation is going to be for you. And again, with the Temperance, a lot of fusion, a lot of coming together. Things are going to be more clear to you. I'm being drawn to the sun on the horizon. It's rising up on the horizon. And so, yeah, like you're definitely going to come out of this Three of Swords. I feel like you'll come out of both the Sun and Three of Swords in the sense of their extremes, and how they just like, one day you're just on top of the world, and then the next day you're just at the complete bottom depths of Hades, right? And so I feel that things are going to balance out, and you'll be able to rise above it and just like feel completely grounded and completely sane. Like some of you may even be like experiencing these extremes, and you're wondering like, am I okay? Like, is there something wrong with me? No, it's just in those moments, you just felt such a surge of whatever that feeling or energy was. And so, it doesn't define like your mental like stability. Is just, that was just what's happening, And so now it's going to like balance out. We do have the Five of Cups. So there's going to be a loss in this, as with all things. So there can be a relationship ending, but I do feel a new one will start. So For example, one romantic relationship can lead into the next, or maybe a romantic relationship ends and then you meet somebody who becomes like your best friend for life. And, or, you know, maybe you and your best friend have to part ways and then you meet someone and you fall in love, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it could be any kind of scenario. So there's some kind of loss that occurs. This could even be a loss in belief systems or in a particular way of seeing things, so a loss of perceptions. You may have, because of the information that comes in, it completely changes your view on a situation or on life. And so you may be switching, you may even like switch religions, you may switch philosophies or beliefs, or you may abandon, or not so much abandon, but you may give up one belief to go and learn more about the other. And I'm thinking of this tarot reader who was on his way to priesthood. He was in the process of becoming a priest, and then COVID hit and he got into tarot cards, and it completely like just took over, and he gave up his priesthood to do tarot readings. So it could be something like that, to where it's like you're on one path to do one thing, and then while you're on that path, you discover some new information, something new comes in, and it completely changes your perspective, and you decide to go in that direction. And so with that said, the path you were on before was not a complete waste, because you wouldn't have arrived to this new path if it wasn't for that one. So that's something to keep in mind. So it's like, it's not a complete loss with the Five of Cups. He still has 2 cups standing up behind him. And in this card, he's more focused on what he's lost, because he lost 3 and he still has 2. Like, 3 is more than 2. You know, I'm sure if he only lost 1 cup, he wouldn't be so, you know, down and out about it. But regardless, like, that's a way of looking at this. It's like, it's not a complete loss, whatever it is that's ending, because it brought you to this moment, and you can only take what you need moving forward. And moving forward for this guy is just, he can only take 2 cups with him on his journey. This is Mars and Scorpio energy. We also have Sagittarius, and we also have Aquarius. And then we have the element of water with the Ace of Cups, and then the tool, the cup, and what the cup represents, and the occult, and like all those good things. This has a lot to do with self-reflection and manifestation, and purifying and cleansing, you know, with the water element. Fire is one way to purify and cleanse, but we're dealing with water here. And so this is like your emotions. These are your dreams. These are your fantasies. So it's all like the intuitive, it's higher consciousness, things like that. And so with the Ace of Cups too, you are being given an opportunity to manifest in those areas. It's like you have the green light to do that. And out of all elements, like, that's the one element that you're going to benefit from the most, because it's being handed to you. All right, this is a tool that Spirit wants you to work with. And it's interesting how you're being handed the Ace of Cups, and then we go right into the Temperance card, where the angel is mixing 2 cups. She's got 2 cups, or he or she, because it's androgynous. They have 2 cups. So it's like you're being given the second cup, so that way you can fuse together these things. And this fusion is going to happen in all aspects of your life. So you got to, or in any aspect of your life. So you got to apply it accordingly to your life. Again, I gave the analogy of work and relationships. So that may not be what's going on for you. So just apply it to those areas. And then there's other areas too, where you're going to see this fusion, this, like, things just, the scales are being balanced. And so with that, everything else is going to fall into place eventually. So that's like another thing, like, things are going to fall into place. You're definitely wrapping up the year for sure. You're definitely wrapping up a cycle. And I feel, let's say by Pisces season, when the sun will trine you, I could see you guys like sealing this, like it's in the past, and you'll be quite literally rebirthed in Aries season. And so I think that's pretty fascinating. Again, like, this is a very profound reading. You know, it's pretty, and I can't even think of the word for it. It's not like intense or anything. It's just, it's very profound. That's like the best word I could use right now. Like, you guys are really like, you guys are alchemists right now. You guys are the magician right now. And you guys have like all the powers in your hands to completely transform and change the course of your life, change the direction of your life. Okay, so I think that's it really. I'm really getting archetypal energy here for you guys. I don't see too much of like small details or anything. It's just Spirit wants you to really focus on the bigger picture. You know, the small details, I feel like you already know about that. Like, that's what you're trying to balance here, are the small details. And so here at the end of the year, what you could expect is to the bigger picture to come into play. And that's like another thing, like something's coming into play, like a movie, like a character's walking in is what I'm getting. It's their introduction scene. Other characters are coming into play. Like, things are, it's interesting. So it's almost as if the world is a stage for you at this time. So if you are in the spotlight, expect more attention with that. If you are like an influencer, or I don't think any celebrities are watching this, but if you're a celebrity, you know, like if you just have some kind of impact on people, like you have a large following, or you're in the public eye, like you guys are gonna draw a lot of attention. A lot of eyes are going to be on you, and it might be silent at the same time. Like, it may not seem like people are paying attention, but people are most definitely paying attention. You know, Scorpio energy tends to have eyes on them, but and vice versa, right? Because like Scorpio is really good at like being in the shadow and like watching what everyone else is doing, but you guys definitely have eyes on you, and they're in the shadow in the sense that that's just Scorpio energy. Everything's kind of in the shadows, and if you don't see it, you're not going to see it, but it's there. So that's something to keep in mind too. Let me see what else, because I think that's it. And I'm getting the world is yours. I just saw a picture of like a blimp that said that. You know, the world is a stage. There's something about a stage or a play, people coming into play, something like remembering your lines. So just like however these analogies and metaphors work for you, this is like what I'm getting. Okay, so I think that's it really. That's all I need to cover. So let's go ahead and move forward, and we'll wrap up the reading after this. So we're going to go and take a look at advice from your spirit guides. So this is more or less direct advice, a direct message from your guides, and it's going to help you clarify or help bring some even like confirmation to what you're going through at this time. It could be confirmation for later on. And so this is just what your spirit guides want you to know. However you see your spirit guides, even like your higher self, if you're not, you know, if you don't believe in spirit guides, or if you don't think you have any, you definitely have a higher self. And this higher self knows what's good for you. So, because I believe like your higher self sees all like the past, present, and future. So they know what's good for you. And that's like where maybe some of our intuition can come from as well. So that's like a whole other topic. But yeah, just spirit guide message, however you want to take it, that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to shuffle and we'll see what we get. Okay, so for advice, we got the Two of Swords and the Ten of Cups. And immediately when I pulled the Two of Swords, your guide said the choice is yours. And there was another one I heard, but I completely lost it now, unfortunately. The choice is yours. Oh, the choice is yours in this divine play. And then we have the Ten of Cups. And so I feel that with this, if we're going to treat it as like confirmation, I feel this is just confirmation for whatever it is you're experiencing. Like, you know, you have a choice to make, and you already know what that choice is. It's just a matter of actually doing it instead of sitting on it. But the Two of Swords is necessary in the sense that this is the weighing of the scales. This is you weighing both sides, seeing both sides, and then the struggle here with the Two of Swords, or the issue here with the Two of Swords, is you need to put the swords down and take off the blindfold and make a choice. Okay, because you're too conflicted, you're too wishy-washy. You're too like, oh, but this and that, and you know, if I do this then that'll happen, but if I do that then that'll, like, you're too in your head about it. Basically, you're too in one sense it's necessary, you know, to do this, but at the same time this is confirmation and advice that now, or when the time is right, you got to make that choice and that decision, and you don't need to sit on it anymore. Basically, you got all the information you need. You know what needs to be done. You know what you want. You know what's right. You know what is fair for you. And it may not be fair for other people, but there's a huge focus on you guys really make, like, oh God. And it's so interesting because I had a tarot or a birth chart reading the other day, and they were talking about how something about connecting, like the bridge of your nose and then connecting both sides of the hemisphere, and it meets here in the bridge of your nose, and like that's where your third eye is like, I don't think it's directly between your brows, it's like right above your brows, but like right there in the middle. And so that's technically a part of the bridge of your nose, right? And so it's like and we were talking, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it is something like taking both sides and then choosing the middle ground kind of thing. And so that's like what needs to happen. Like you want to cross that bridge. You want to like commit. Your spirit guides want you to make a commitment here. And you already know what it is. And that commitment's going to lead you to the 10 of Cups. So again, like this is going to be fair for you and it's going to benefit you. There might be somebody that, unfortunately, like if you need to end a relationship or end like a business partnership or something like that, unfortunately, the other person's going to have a loss, and it's a loss for you as well, but you're going to gain from it. And they might, you know, gain from it as well. I mean, if something ends and it's for the better, right? At least for the most part, it's for the better. And if it's not so much for the better at that moment, it will be at some point. You know, I don't think things stay down forever. Like, you know, like, yeah, let's just not get into it. So we have Mars in Pisces energy, and we have Moon in Libra energy. And again, Pisces season, I do feel like there's something here that by then, like, you could see the finalization of all of this basically in Pisces season. So that's middle of February to the middle of March. And then there's like a whole rebirth. You're going to go through an Aries season, a whole like new identity. So like some of you may be having an identity crisis. So rest assured, by Aries season, you'll know exactly who you are again. And you may even be like a completely different person by then. And so, yeah, when it's Pisces season, that's when the sun will trine your sun. It will trine your sun, and then it'll trine just Scorpio energy in general. So if you have other planets there, they'll get activated. And so the trine is like, that is a fusion, basically. It's a way to unite things. Okay, so that's the advice I'm getting. I love to see the 10 of Cups because like this is all gonna work out. This is all gonna, like, it's amazing, you know, and it feels good. Again, like this doesn't feel so intense, although it can be for some of you. Like for some of you, this can be like really, really intense or like really difficult. But at the end of it all, and that's probably why I feel so good about it, is because here at the end of the reading, we have the 10 of Cups, and it's just like, this is just the ultimate, like, this is like the best card you can get when it comes to like success and all those good things. Like, it's divine bliss, really. You know, you guys are going to have a deeper connection to the divine, and it's going to be really personal, you know, as any relationship with the divine really is a personal thing. Even if you are religious or you have like a group that you're with, like a coven or something, like it's still a personal experience. Okay. So yeah, now I'm like out of breath. I'm kind of like, but I feel good. I still feel good. It's just like, what a relief, honestly, you guys. And I'm happy for you guys. Like, Scorpio is my favorite sign ever. Like, I have Venus in Scorpio. And so like, I just fucking love Scorpio and Scorpio energy. It's like the best time of year for me. Usually it's just, I love it. So I'm excited for you guys. Absolutely thrilled. So now, before I close, I'm going to pull an oracle card, and I'm going to pull a card from the Urban Crow Oracle deck. And this is just going to like wrap it all up and tie everything together into one card. And so I'll put it up on the screen with the book's description. You can take a screenshot if you would like to keep it with you and like refer back to it whenever you need some like advice or confirmation. Either way, this card will just like, again, like I said, it's going to wrap everything up and it's going to like simplify everything into one oracle card. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that and we'll see what we get. Okay, so the card we got for you guys is number 17, Exposed. And I think this is like the very first time I've pulled this card, so congratulations. And in the book it says, Exposed. Alone and unprotected, the fledgling is vulnerable to attack. Exposed may indicate you're being thrust into the spotlight and potentially not in a good way, depending on the circumstances. As a result, you may feel helpless and fear possible criticism. Exposed may also point to an open and free opportunity for the taking, as there will not be much in the way of opposition. Exposed speaks to the feelings that surface as a result of feeling vulnerable. Are you comfortable putting yourself out there? What does facing criticism cause you, or does facing criticism cause you to freeze up? What opportunities have you possibly missed because of a fear of being seen? Exposed may also present itself as a call to examine your situation more carefully as a piece of valuable information is becoming clearer. Something or someone may expose their flaws or weaknesses, and this may prove to be beneficial information in the future. Dude, that's crazy. Like, what did I just say in this whole reading, right? I told you that this oracle card was going to sum it all up. And so that's amazing. And I like that there's a lot of questions in the description of this card, because it really wants you to, again, it goes with the whole Two of Swords thing of like weighing both sides and like asking yourself and these things and digging deeper. And so it really is a personal thing for you to do here. And it's up to you to make the decisions for yourself. You know, even if you get help from other people, like it's still up to you to you know, for a lack of better example, pull the trigger. It's up to you to pull that trigger. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and screenshot this. I feel like this is a good one to keep with you, especially because of the questions. It's something for you to come back on. And that basically wraps up this reading. I'm going to give you your channeled song now. So if you're into channeled music, then go ahead and check out the song. If you're not familiar with channeled songs, it's just basically music is one way to receive information from, you know, a higher source. It's, you know, whether it's the lyrics or the music itself, or just like the energy, the vibe, or just like the frequency of the song, you can receive downloads and insight that way. I mean, especially if you smoke like weed or something, you got to be like 18 and over, and it's got to be legal in your state to do that, right? But if you smoke weed and listen to music, you know, if you tend to like hear things that you wouldn't normally hear if you didn't smoke, right? So like if you treat music as like a more like an avenue or a way to connect to something higher, of course you want to be careful and mindful of the kind of music you're listening to do that. Then yeah, like you can receive a message somehow. All right. So yeah, that got really long. I didn't mean to get so weird about it, but that's basically what it is. And so for the message I got for you guys, the channeled song I got for you guys is Lucy Park, All Roads. And I left a link for that in the description to a YouTube video. Otherwise, go look it up like on Spotify or Apple Music. That is not a plug, by the way. I'm not sponsored in any way by them. And so yeah, that basically wraps up your reading. If you haven't yet already, please hit the subscribe button, tap the notifications bell, and like this video. By liking this video, you help to push it into the YouTube algorithm for other people to find. Follow my profile on Instagram at Spotless Mind Tarot. Replace the I in mind with the number 1. If you would like to book a private reading with me, my readings are available on my Etsy shop, kaleidoscopeescape.etsy.com. Also, do me a huge favor and drop a comment below on this video. Let me know if this reading resonates with you, or if it doesn't resonate with you. It also lets me know that you're here with me. So for future readings, I'll be able to tune into your energy a little bit more, because I could expect you to come back, right? So yeah, that'd be cool if you did. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very grateful for your presence, and I will catch you in the next video.